Hello folks, my apologies for this late Monday rules video. I'll explain what caused the delay in a second here, but first the honorable mentions for the bottom tier battleship, tier 6, tier 7, or to tier 7 in the top tier battle, so either tier 8 or tier 9 battle. And the two honorable mentions go to Nick in a Fuso for doing 144k damage in a tier 8 battle, and Admiral Jellicoe in a Colorado doing 104k damage. But the winner for last week's challenge is MrHavercamp, who played a New Mexico in a tier 8 battle and came out on top. But that is kind of what caused the delay, because at the very beginning of this battle, and the first ship that MrHavercamp engages was the enemy Tirpitz. Generally speaking, the Tirpitz will win an engagement against the New Mexico. The Tirpitz has better armor, the Tirpitz has better guns, the Tirpitz is faster, it can close the range, uses torpedoes. There's all these options for Tirpitz. But MrHavercamp is going to pull off something, and you'll see it pretty soon. And the Tirpitz is actually going to get devastated. And when I saw that, I was like, I wonder if I could replicate that. I wonder if there was some peculiarity about where MrHavercamp was aiming the guns on the Tirpitz, and you know, whether or not it was a certain spot that was being hit that was leading to these great results. You know, grabbed a friend, told him to get in a Tirpitz, took a New Mexico, went into a battle room, and then repeated the test over and over and over again, and just could not, for the life of me, replicate it. And you know, eventually we did reach a conclusion, and I will point it out in this battle where I think that peculiar thing happened. So here we go. At this point, MrHavercamp was still looking at other ships, but eventually the Tirpitz is going to start coming out from behind the island. And I want you to watch what happens, because it is very interesting. And it's not something that happens frequently, by the way. The Tirpitz is generally a very difficult ship to deal with, and incredibly difficult to Citadel. Actually, with my friend, we were testing other ships as well with the Tirpitz. We tried the Montana, tried the Yamato, tried the Namagi, and just couldn't reliably get any Citadels. But watch this. MrHavercamp fires a salvo, nice and tight. 1 Citadel, 5 hits, 24,000 damage. But you know, okay, RNG, a little bit luck, you get that 1 Citadel hit. It is doable. But the next one is where things were really awesome, because MrHavercamp lines up another shot onto that Tirpitz. The Tirpitz begins a tiny little bit of a turn. You'll start to see it. There's a little bit of a turn where the Tirpitz is trying to turn in, and MrHavercamp punishes him hard for that turn. Salvo goes in. Bam. 2 Citadels, 3 hits, 27,000 damage. Tirpitz sunk. And I was like, wow. New Mexico can Citadel Tirpitz. I wonder if I could try that. And, you know, went ahead and told you about it and did all those tests and couldn't replicate it. We have a working theory as to what allowed a New Mexico to Citadel Tirpitz like that. And it's those turns. I swear that when the Tirpitz is turning in, not turning out, but turning in, it exposes that little bit of armor, I think, under the waterline. Just raises it up a little bit, and if you're able to hit a shot into that area, you're able to Citadel. So either it's that, or on a slightly different note, it is also possible that when the ship is tilted a little bit, that the inside armor plating changes in terms of its angle. So the Tirpitz, which has the turtleback armor, which normally makes it very, very difficult to Citadel, when it turns, I think that angle for the turtleback changes, and you're able to get easier shots in from that side. So it's one of those two. It's either that the armor, the very, very thin armor under the waterline is being shown and the shots going in through there, or the turtleback is being altered in some way and the angle is made a little bit flatter and a little bit easier to penetrate. It's a guess. It's as good of a guess as I've got right now, because yeah, like I said, we tried it, just could not get results. With the Tirpitz out of the way, the New Mexico is pretty well equipped to deal with what's left on the enemy team. The only real threat is really going to be the Lexington, and the Lexington's only really going to be able to kill off a New Mexico if it lands a perfect torpedo bomber run plus waits for the repair kit to get burned, assumes there's flooding there, and then dive bombs them and sets them on fire. It's really the only way. Aside from that, the Colorado, I guess, could put up a pretty good fight if it's able to get close. But the cruisers, generally speaking, if I was in a cruiser, I'd try to stay away from New Mexico. The main reason, if you're ever in a cruiser and you see New Mexico and you should kind of stay away from it, is because the New Mexico just has so many shells that it can lob at you, and just by luck alone, something is going to hit and something is going to hurt. So, and even if they don't hit citadels, just penetration alone, the New Mexico can do quite a lot of damage there. So MrHavercamp takes a shot at a Cleveland. First salvo, not that great. 5 target hits. I think they were mostly overpens though, having only done a total of 7,000 some odd damage. Enemy DD gets off a few torpedoes towards MrHavercamp, but with the New Mexico's ability to turn and the fact that the ship isn't all that fast, MrHavercamp was able to minimize damage to only 1 torpedo. Luckily for MrHavercamp, that 1 torpedo didn't actually cause any flooding. So when the torpedo bombers came around to bomb MrHavercamp again, at least he didn't have to burn off that repair kit initially, so at least he could save it for the torpedo bombers. Torpedo bombers dropped a little bit too close, hitting only 1 torpedo, doing approximately 5,000 damage. Again, no flooding, so things are just fine. Had he been flooded, there would have been a little bit more danger from things like fire. If cruisers got a couple fires on them, that would have really hurt. But yeah, no flooding, so the repair kit got saved, and that is going to allow him to continue dealing with all of these cruisers. Finally turns his attention onto the Cleveland, and the Cleveland is offering a very big juicy broadside, which MrHavercamp is going to punish him for. And New Mexico has the ability to just absolutely wreck cruisers. During ranked battles, for example, if you ever happen to be playing in New Mexico at the lower ranks and you run into cruisers, they are quite literally 1 to 2 shot affairs for most cruisers at up to tier 5, tier 6. So that Cleveland pretty easily wiped out. The next shot, however, was really sweet. Colorado in front, still a good chunk of HP, over 30,000. MrHavercamp lines up a shot and watch this RNG. Like, just watch this RNG. Look at that dispersion. Holy moly. 3 citadels, 2 target hits, over 30,000 damage. Nuked the crap out of that Colorado, and that was all the damage that MrHavercamp had to do. 154,721. Even though damage counter has showed 2 extra damage for some bizarre reason. Anyways, here's the stats at the end. 8 citadel hits, 3 ships sunk, 438,000 credits, 7,138 experience, high caliber, 2 devastating strikes. And if we look at the base experience, MrHavercamp was absolutely at the top of the list on the team, having a base experience of 2,329. One final look at the detailed screen, and you can clearly see that the damage done was 154,721. So, maybe the damage counter can't be all that accurate sometimes, maybe. Anyways, congratulations. I'll be sending you some doubloons, so keep your eye open on your email. And of course, let's get on to this week's challenge. Sent in from Warhawk 971. It says most damage done in a tier 5 cruiser, but only torpedo and flooding damage counts. So this should be good because all tier 5 cruisers have torpedoes, and I think that's a plan. So go out there, play either in Omaha, Murmansk, Königsberg, or Furutaka. You can use all your weapons, but I will only count torpedo and flooding damage. Let's see which is the best tier 5 cruiser out there. Have fun, and remember, Monday rules.